Good morning. Now the new topic which we will start is metallurgy. From the term itself you can guess that metallurgy is related to metals. Metals are elements. You know that elements are the simplest most form of matter, and these elements are three different categories. The one is metals, non-metals and inert gases. Metals, non-metals and inert gases. In the periodic table we have studied that these elements are replied under different groups. So metals are from group number 1 to 30. In the periodic table, metals are from group number 1 to 13, and the non-metals are from group number 15 to 17, whereas inert gases in group number 18 or 0 group. This is the modern periodic table, and if you see in the table, these all which are from here to here, all these are metals. Out of these groups, the group number 1 and group number 2 metals are the most active metals. You know that the group number 1 metals are alkali metals and group number 2 are alkaline earth metals. These are transition elements and all these are metals. So these metals, if we just see, since they are elements, they cannot be synthesized in the laboratory, can't be prepared. For that sake, we are dependent to get the metals on nature. And in nature, metals are available in two different ways. Those metals which are very reactive, they are combining with other elements available in the nature and forming a compound. Metals combine only with the non-metals, so we get an ionic compound of the metals. So these metals are available in the form of their compounds. Whereas some more metals are there which are very less reactive, say as gold, platinum. These metals are, and so many more like that, they are very less reactive. So they hardly form any combination or any compound with any other non-metal or any other element. So that is why these metals are available in an uncombined state. Depending upon their occurrence in the nature, we name or give term to the occurrence. Those metals which are available in the combined form, we say, or in the form of compound, we say they are in the combined form. They are in the combined form or combined state. Whereas those metals which are less reactive and not available in the form of their compounds, we say they are occurring in their native state. So we have these two terms: combined state for the occurrence of those metals which are available in nature in the form of their compounds, and native state for the occurrence of those metals which are available or occurring in nature in the free state, means without any combination or without forming any compound. Now, for that sake, we are dependent upon nature. We are not able to synthesize these metals in the lab. Therefore, we are dependent upon the nature or earth crust to get these metals. On the earth crust or in the earth crust, we have so many substances available. It is very rich, and many of the metals, non-metals, compounds, gases, solids, liquids, all they are available on the earth crust or inside, deep inside the earth crust. So whatever we obtain from the earth crust, we give the term mineral, right? Mineral, usually people have a concept or as a myth, you can say that mineral means only the metals. No, mineral may be anything which is obtained from the earth crust. It may be a solid, maybe a liquid, maybe a gas, maybe a metal, maybe non-metal, maybe compound, maybe element. For example, sulfur and coal are non-metals, but they are obtained from the earth crust, so we say they are minerals. Petroleum is a mineral. Natural gas or petroleum gas is a mineral, whereas iron, copper, gold, all these are also available in different combined and uncombined form, like hematite, magnetite, calcite, and so many more names are there which you will be getting afterwards. So they all are available from the earth crust. These minerals we are, when we study about any of the metal, we see which of the minerals this particular metal is available. For example, if you want to do about the iron, we see that which of the minerals iron is available, and then from these minerals we see from which of the minerals iron can be extracted easily, cheaply and profitably. From that mineral of the iron, from which iron can be extracted easily, cheaply and profitably, we say that mineral is ore of the iron. So ore is a mineral from which the metal can be extracted easily, cheaply and profitably. Not necessarily that only one ore the metal is having. Many of the ores that metal may have, but that is only the sorted out. Maybe any metal is available in 10, 20, 30 form of the mineral, but maybe 2, 3 ores are there. So here those minerals are selected or sorted out, and after that we find out from which of the mineral the metal can be extracted out easily, cheaply and profitably. That mineral is named as or termed as ore. So about the ore, you have to learn and memorize the ores of some of the metals, and see the attachment there, file 1, in which the names of the ore is table and that is given for you. So you may refer to that attachment. Now after that, this ore is of course obtained from the earth crust. So when we obtain from the earth crust, it is impure because other impurities are there. Sand is there, pebbles are there, you can say that some dead remains of the plants and animals are there. So all these things may be possible, which we name under the heading other impurities. So other impurities are present in this ore which we collect. Now after that, beside that, ore may be alone, maybe around it some more type of deposition is there. This deposition may be in the fused form with the ore, and we have to get rid of this. Means all the impurities present with the ore, we give the name matrix or gone. This is another term which you have to do, that is matrix or gone. So in the matrix or gone which we have, what is the matrix or gone? Matrix is the impurities present with the ore when it is taken out from the earth crust. And these impurities may be simple earthen impurities like the sand, pebbles, stones or clay or some mud or some dead remains of the plants and animals, and some impurities may be the fused impurities. Now our first step is, after collecting the ore from the earth crust, we have to remove these earthen impurities, and for that sake we apply some physical means and some chemical means also. Physical method of the separation of the impurities from a mixture you have learned in class 9th and other lower classes also. So taking those examples means from any of those which are suitable in that particular example of the ore, we apply that. Like here we studied about the magnetic separation, we have studied about froth flotation, we have studied about fusion and so many more. So we will discuss in detail afterwards. So here in that, the earthen impurities are to be removed by physical impurities, physical means, and also some of the chemicals may be required which will remove these impurities. The material, the chemical which we use to remove these earthen impurities, the chemical or the substance or the material which we use to remove these earthen impurities from the ore, we use the word flux. We use the word flux. So flux is the chemical of the substance added to the ore to remove the impurities present in the ore. Now this flux chemically reacts with those impurities, the fused impurities in especially. Means what we do, first we minimize the impurities by some of the physical means, and after that the remaining matrix we remove by adding some of the chemical. That chemical which we are adding is known as flux. Now flux reacts with the matrix. And after reacting with the matrix, it separates out as a separate substance, leaving the pure ore free from all the impurities out. And this is known as slag. So flux is the chemical or the substance added to the ore, impure ore, to withdraw the matrix. Flux reacts with the matrix chemically and forms a combined compound or substance that is known as slag. So these are the terms which are required during the purification or extraction of the metals. This is to be remembered, and this is one line definition. You should know that what is the meaning of flux, what is the meaning of matrix, what is the meaning of slag, etc. Now after that, means when we take this, means you are taking the ore, minimizing its impurities and bringing ore into the concentrated form. When we collect from the earth crust, it is having so much impurities in it, and these impurities are when withdrawn, when this is taken out. So at that time, from huge quantity of the impure ore or mixed ore, we take the concentrated form of the ore, means all the impurities are removed. This particular process of withdrawing the impurities from the ore by using physical means or by using chemical means or using both, we study under the heading dressing of the ore. Dressing or concentration of ore. Dressing or concentration of ore. So this is said as dressing or concentration of ore. Why? When we apply this dressing or concentration, the example to example, ore to ore, metal to metal, the method which we select is depend. Means in some cases, like the physical means, if we example those physical means. So here those physical means, if we go for the dressing of ore, means in the first one, is magnetic separation. Magnetic separation. Magnetic separation we apply in those examples where ore is magnetic and the impurities are non-magnetic, or reverse, the ore is non-magnetic and the impurities are magnetic. So we do what, that we crush the ore, that impure ore which we have collected from the earth crust, and pass through a magnetic field. A conveyor belt like arrangement is there. So when we pass through, the magnetic particles or magnetic portion of the mixture is getting cleaned with the magnet, and the non-magnetic is thrown out. It has gone. So then we select the magnetic separation. Another which is very prominent is the hydraulic method. Hydraulic method. Hydraulic method in which we are passing a stream of water. The crushed mixture of the ore and impurities is put. All this is the large scale process. It is not a small quantity that in a beaker we take and do that. But all the machines are developed. In a smaller scale, we have studied already these methods. But here we are doing it in a large scale because this is not a small quantity. And then just special type of belt is prepared, slopy arrangement is there on which this is passed through, and the grooves are here. Means from this, the grooves are here, and as we pass through, what happens that heavier particles are getting settled in the grooves, and lighter particles or lighter portion of this mixture is washed away with the water. You just recall, you can example which you can just compare it, like suppose we wash vegetables and fruits in the or leafy vegetables in the water. So when you just put it in the water, what happens, that dust and dirt which is there, that settles down, and only the leaves are up or they float up. So here what is there, that lighter particles are floating up and heavier particles, sand and dust are settling down. It's almost similar type of process. So here the heavy particles settle in the grooves and the lighter particles are thrown out. And the other one which we have, that is froth flotation. Froth flotation process. In the froth flotation, a froth is to be created, and with the froth the lighter particles get clean and come up, like in a tub when we put some of the detergent powder and shake well, and after that what we see, with the froth which is created, the dust and dirt of the cloths, that is getting clean and going out. So like that it is here, the froth is to be created. Now what is done here, the ore is wetted with the oil and the impurities are wetted with the water. Means preferential wetting word we use for this. So preferentially the wetting is done, and the ore and the impurities mixture is put in big drums in which water is there, and then it is just mixed thoroughly. Doing so, because the ore is wetted with the oil, it floats up, and the impurities are wetted with water, they settle down. Now this lighter ore which is floating, we separate out and keep for some time, and then after that it separates out from the water, and therefore this is said as the froth flotation process. It floats up. So after doing the dressing or concentration of ore, we get the less quantity of ore. Now we look in this, that after passing through this physical means, we see if some fused impurities are there or not. And if some fused impurities are there, we put a flux in that. Means some suitable chemical is to be taken. And that time we say the chemical separation. So chemical separation, one example right now I gave, that is in case of hematite, extraction of iron. Hematite is having silica, fused impurity. To get rid of this silica, the matrix is silica here, we add some flux, and this flux is calcium carbonate which breaks into calcium oxide. So anyway, that calcium oxide is flux here which reacts with SiO2, means silica, and forms calcium silicate. Calcium silicate is the slag. Same way this chemical separation we use in the extraction of aluminium. That we will be doing afterwards in detail. About the extraction of aluminium is in detail in your syllabus. Iron is not. So that is why little bit I said about iron. But aluminium's extraction we have to do in detail, and that is why when we will do in detail, that time again I will put this point, that what is the flux here, what is the method of separation in the aluminium's extraction. So here the flux is added, and the removal of the remaining impurities, which are now so called fused impurities, we do. And at the end of this treatment, we have dressed and concentrated ore, means which is free from all the impurities. Now after this, what we do, the next is, this is to be changed into the oxide form, means the ore is to be converted into conversion into oxide form. Conversion into oxide form. It is a very necessary step for those metals which are occurring in the form of different compounds, not in the oxide form. The first point after the selection of ore, second is dressing of the ore or concentration of ore, which I have written here now from the first point. Now the third step which we have reached is conversion into the oxide form. So in the conversion into oxide form, this I mentioned here, conversion into the oxide form. Suppose the metal is occurring in the form of carbonate or the metal is occurring in the form of sulfide. It is not as an oxide, and also metal may be in the form of oxide like aluminium oxide, ferric oxide, like that. So in those examples there is no need of any conversion into the oxide form. Directly it is in the oxide form. So this step is for those compounds, for those ores which are not oxide. And for that sake, usually we have two procedures. The one is roasting and the other one is calcination. In the roasting, heat in the presence of air. Heat in the presence of air. The ore is heated in the presence of air. If I take the example of this, suppose this is zinc sulfide, and if we heat it in the presence of air, it converts into zinc oxide and SO2. Zinc oxide and SO2. It is heated in the presence of air, plus is that, and because of that we are getting the oxide form, means this sulfide ore is converted into the oxide form, and that is only by process conversion into its oxide form. So when the ore is heated in the presence of air, we say it roasting. Now another process is also there in which heat in the absence of air. These are the terms which you have to remember, properly prepare one line short note. So here calcination, heating of the ore in the absence of air. Heating the ore in the absence of air. And if I take for this sake, we take the example, suppose this is a carbonate ore and this you are heating in the absence of air, it converts into and carbon dioxide. Again this is converted into the oxide form. So whenever we do the heating in the absence of air, we say calcination, and then we convert ore into the oxide form by heating in the presence of air, we say it roasting. Now after doing so, we come to the next step, means now the ore is in the form of oxide, and this oxide, this is the most important step of the process, and in that what we do, we are doing the reduction of ore. The reduction of oxide. So here the oxide means the metallic oxide. Now we have at this level we are having the metallic oxide. This metallic oxide which you have, it is to be treated with a reducing agent, and that reducing agent will withdraw the oxygen, and this will convert into free metal plus whichever any compound. So metallic oxide at this step, means this is the third step which you can say here, reduction of oxide. In the reduction of oxide, the metal oxide is thereafter treated with a suitable reducing agent. Selection of reducing agent is to be done on the basis of you can say its position in the activity series. Those metals which are very active, present on the topmost part, they cannot be reduced by the common reducing agent, and for their reduction we need electrolytic reduction process. We will come back to that point when we will do the extraction of aluminium. So here the reduction of the metal is depend upon the position of metal, or you can say in other words its affinity with the oxygen. If the metal oxide, the metal and oxygen bond is very strong, and that is visible in those metals which are the topmost part of the activity series. They are very much strongly bonded with the oxygen. We are unable to, whatever the traditional reducing agents are available, they are unable to fetch away the oxygen. And so here the traditional reducing agents are failed to withdraw the oxygen. And such cases we are using the means the reduction is done not by the reducing agent, but we are using the electrolytic reduction process, means in which electrolysis of the compound is done, means oxide is done. Now after that, as we come down, like zinc and other metals, if we go, so zone wise if we take, the representative of the zinc zone, they are reduced by carbon, can be reduced by carbon. So carbon works as reducing agent. Like zinc oxide, if we treat with this zinc oxide, if we treat with the carbon, this will come out and will form zinc and carbon monoxide. So here the reducing agent is carbon. If we come little lower and you say representative of this zone is iron, iron is reduced by carbon monoxide. And below hydrogen if we go, like tungsten, it can be reduced, means tungsten oxide can be reduced by hydrogen. So on we go like that. Means the reducing agent selection is to be done cleverly. Means those reducing agents which are more effective, that only is selected and done. So here and selected and used. And here this way we are seeing that on the top those metals are common. Traditional reducing agents are not suitable, and that is why we do electrolytic reduction. As we come down, we are using other reducing agents, and that common reducing agents are carbon, carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Usually we use this. Now after the reduction, we are having metal in our hand. We get the free metal in our hand. But during this process, metal gets contaminated or mixed with the flux, with the reducing agent, with some other co-products, like some more metals are there which are also participating in the process, and that is why this metal is not in a, means you can say directly cannot be sent to the market. And that is why we do the last step, and that is the refining of the metal. Refining of the metal. So if we see dressing or concentration of ore, before that we do the selection of ore from the mineral, then dressing of the ore by using chemical and physical means as the case is, then we do the conversion into the oxide form if the metal compound is not an oxide. For that we select either roasting or calcination. Thereafter we convert oxide into the free metal by using a suitable reducing agent, and after that we do the refining. These are the procedure or process for the extraction of the metal, and all together which we have studied is the term metallurgy. So metallurgy is the process of extraction of metal, which includes all these 5 steps, from the selection of ore till the refining of metal. From the selection of ore till the refining of metal. All the 5 steps are involved in that, and collectively this is said as metallurgy of that metal. Like for example, if you are doing metallurgy of iron, we do first the selection of ore of the iron from the minerals available, then we do the dressing of the ore of iron by physical and chemical means, then we are converting the iron ore into the oxide form, and thereafter we select a suitable reducing agent to convert iron oxide into iron, and then we do the refining of iron. So these are the generalized method. In some of the extraction processes, means specific example, maybe 1 or 2 steps are missing, and that is in particular to be done in your syllabus. Now only we have the extraction of aluminium in detail. The next video we will be doing the extraction of aluminium. For the names of the ores, you have to study about some specific examples and some specific metals, in that aluminium, zinc and iron. You have to remember the name of the ore. Direct questions are asked. So I am giving an attachment, see file there, which is attached file, and in that you will get a table of this. Okay, thank you.